Bull began to turn blue. He was choking on a piece of prime rib. Jules sprang into action. He performed the Heimlich maneuver with the precision of a master surgeon. A piece of meat flew across the room and landed in a socialite's champagne flute. The man gasped for air. "You saved my life," the man cried. "It was nothing," Jules said modestly, though he made sure to give the man his address and social security number. The next day, Wormold arrived at the apartment. "Jack Tripper, I have an offer for you and your lovely roommates. A 3-bedroom penthouse at Paradise Towers. Rent-free for a year. It has a view of the ocean and a doorman in a purple uniform. We'll take it." The trio screamed. Wormold smiled. "Excellent. But first, I would love a gourmet dinner. Something light, perhaps creme brulee and squab." Jules spent the entire day cooking. He used every pan in the kitchen. He even used Candy's Lumina Glow mixing bowls. While they were eating, Jade kept staring at Wormold. "You look familiar," she said. "Weren't you at the music center last month?" "I only go to dinner theaters," Wormold said, shoveling squab into his mouth. "No," Jade said, her eyes narrowing. "I saw a man who looked exactly like you choking in a restaurant 2 months ago, and 3 months before that at a seafood shack." The room went silent. "Mr. Wormold," Jules said slowly, "do you make a habit of choking in restaurants?" Wormold wiped his mouth with a silk napkin. "My dear boy, if I don't choke or have a heart attack, they try to make me pay the bill. This way, I get a free meal, and everyone feels like a hero. It's a win-win." "And the penthouse?" Candy asked, her voice trembling. "Oh, Paradise Towers exists," Wormold said, standing up. "Somewhere, in the mind of an architect. Well, thanks for the squab. I have a cab waiting with the meter running. I'm going to fall down in front of the driver, so he pays for the ride home. Toodles." Chapter 6. The Cabin of Despair. After the heartbreak of the penthouse. That wasn't. Lenny, the shark, offered the roommates a weekend at his boss's mountain chalet. "It's a masterpiece of architecture," Lenny promised. "A stone fireplace, a gourmet kitchen, and pure mountain air." They arrived to find a shack that looked like it had been built by a very confused beaver. There was 1 bed, no electricity, and the stone fireplace was a pile of rocks with a charred log on top. To make matters worse, Delilah Thorne had followed them, along with Barnaby Bumble, who was convinced he could find wild strawberries to win Delilah's heart. "Jack, I have to tell you something," Lenny whispered. "I told my girlfriend, Laura, that you were a famous movie director, so she'd come with me. Play along?" Jules, exhausted and wanting only to sleep, found himself being cornered by Laura. "Mr. Tripper, use me in your next commercial. I'll do anything. I'll even eat dog food on camera. I'm a chef." "Laura, I cook the dog food. I don't film it." Jules snapped. The weekend descended into madness. Jules tried to sleep in a hammock, but it flipped him into a bush of poison oak. Delilah tried to unzip Jules's hiking vest and got her finger caught in the zipper. Bumble returned with a handful of blueberries, claiming they were pre-ripe strawberries. As the sun set over the jagged peaks of the mountains, the roommates huddled together in a tent that wouldn't stay up. "You know," Candy whispered, "even if we don't have a penthouse or a raise, at least we have each other. And poison oak." Jules groaned, scratching his leg. "And each other." Jade smiled, pulling the blanket over them. In the distance, the sound of Barnaby Bumble screaming as he realized he'd sat in a patch of cactus echoed through the woods. It was the perfect ending to another week in Neo Vista Heights. "Come and knock on our door," Candy sang softly. "Please," Jules whispered. "Don't." The end. The Opal Heights Chronicles. A comedy of errors in Suite 404. Chapter 1. The Porcelain Peril and the Landlord's Ear. In the shimmering, neon-soaked sprawl of Neon Oasis, a city where the salt air of the Pacific meets the scent of overpriced espresso, stood the Opal Heights. It was a mid-century architectural relic with a peeling facade and a landlord whose wardrobe consisted entirely of synthetic fabrics in colors nature never intended. In Suite 404, the morning ritual was well underway. Julian Jules Sterling, an aspiring chef whose culinary genius was currently restricted to student loans and ramen-based experiments, was attempting to survive the domestic whirlwind of his two roommates. There was Marnie Thorne, a pragmatist who ran a boutique flower shop called the Thirsty Tulip, and Pip Clementine, a legal secretary whose grasp on reality was as light and airy as a souffle. The delicate balance of their living arrangement rested on a singular, precarious lie. The landlord, Mr. Barnaby Finch, was a man of Victorian morals and 1970s leisure suits. To Finch, Jules was one of the girls, a harmless, uninterested in romance companion whose presence in the apartment was deemed safe for the virtues of Marnie and Pip. Jules! The new curtains, Pip chirped, her voice echoing from the bathroom. I can't get the hooks to behave, Jules sighed, abandoning his attempt to salvage a batch of burnt granola. Coming, Pip, but stay in the tub. I'm not decent, or rather, you're not, whatever. What Jules didn't know was that Barnaby Finch was currently outside in the hallway, his ear pressed firmly against the mahogany door of Suite 404. Finch, a man who lived for the thrill of a scandal, heard the following. Okay, Pip, I'm coming in with you, Jules said, grunting as he stepped over the rim of the bathtub to reach the high curtain rod. Oh, Jules, it's so big and stiff, Pip exclaimed, referring to the heavy-duty vinyl curtain. Do you think we can get it on? If we both pull together, we can. Jules replied, sweating under the bathroom's humidity. Just unfold it first. You've got to open it up before you can really enjoy the coverage. Outside, Finch's eyes nearly popped out of his skull. He burst through the front door, his polyester vest crinkling with righteous indignation. Aha, I knew it. Roman orgies. In my building. I heard the rub-a-dub-dub. Jules and Pip emerged from the bathroom, fully clothed and holding a floral patterned shower curtain. Finch stared at them, confused. How did you get your clothes on so fast? You were just in the tub. Putting up a curtain, Barnaby, Marnie said, stepping out of the kitchen with a plate of charred underwear. Why is your lingerie in the oven, Marnie? Finch asked, his brain short-circuiting. The dryer is broken, and I had a date, Marnie replied with ice-cold logic. Unless you want to pay for a new dryer, I suggest you stop auditioning for the People's Court and fix the thermostat. Finch, defeated by the sheer absurdity of the situation, slunk away, muttering about the moral decay of the youth. But the day was far from over. Chapter 2. The Great Medical Misunderstanding. The piece lasted exactly 12 minutes. It ended when a loud thud resonated from the bathroom. Jules and Marnie rushed in to find Pip sitting in the tub, rubbing a rapidly rising lump on her forehead. The curtain hooks fought back. Pip moaned, her eyes swirling. At the hospital, the atmosphere was thick with the scent of antiseptic and the low hum of anxiety. Jules and Marnie sat in the waiting room, watching a doctor who looked like he hadn't slept since the late 90s. This was Dr. Silas Thorne. No relation to Marnie, a man of few words and even fewer social graces. When Dr. Thorne finally emerged, he looked at Jules and Marnie with a grim expression. About Miss Clementine, he began, sighing. She's resting, but I've told her she can go at any time. Jules's heart stopped. Marnie let out a strangled sob. Go? You mean, to the great beyond? To the big law office in the sky? I mean, she's discharged, the doctor said, blinking. The tests are negative. She's fine. But honestly, the way she describes the function of human ears to hold up glasses suggests a permanent condition of being a bubblehead, as you call it. The relief was so intense that Jules nearly fainted. However, when they returned to the room, they found Pip giving a heartfelt goodbye to a janitor she mistook for the chief of surgery. Don't worry about me, Pip whispered heroically. Soon, I'll just be a memory. A beautiful, blonde, slightly confused memory. Pip, you're not dying, Jules hissed. You're going home. The doctor said you can leave. Oh, Pip brightened instantly. In that case, can we stop for tacos? Dying is hungry work. Chapter 3. The Lumina Glow Disaster. A week later, Pip decided she needed a career change. Being a legal secretary was too many words, she claimed. She arrived home with a suitcase full of Lumina Glow cosmetics. "I'm an entrepreneur,"